Self-Love Lunch Break with me, Diana, your sacred self-love coach. So, welcome to Thursday. Welcome to us talking about being awake in August and different ways to do that. And today's theme is self-acceptance and strategies for garnering self-acceptance. So, first of all, welcome to everyone who's joining me. Thank you for being here. I will look up and down every now and again because I am watching the chat on my laptop, and I've got two cameras here, one for Instagram and one for everywhere else. So bear with me and do chat. Tell me where you're coming in from, what it's like where you are, how you are. Share that with me. I do love hearing from you. I am here in very grey and dismal Louth, England today. It's really chilly, and I'm not prepared to put the heating on yet. It's still August. So I'm wearing a warm jersey inside. In England, they call it a jumper, but where I come from, South Africa, we call this a jersey. So, yeah, there we have it. So, let's talk about self-acceptance. Easier said than done, right? It seems to be that we offer so much leeway, so much acceptance to other people, especially those that we love and care about. And yet, when it comes down to it, so often we're so very hard on ourselves, and we don't tolerate any error. We judge our mistakes really, really harshly. And so, let's talk about how to cultivate self-acceptance. Hello, Claire. Welcome, welcome. It's so good to have you here. So, the theme for August, being awake in August and finding different ways, is rooted in my definition of self love, which goes like this: self love is daily actions that support self knowledge, self acceptance, and self advancement, rooted in a deep commitment to the true essence of self, being an eternal energy being worthy of acceptance, worthy of love, worthy of expression, and worthy of expansion. And I've chosen those specific words because within each of those words, they kind of house a whole lot of other things, like freedom and growth. And yeah, that's all in there. So, honing down, I was looking at the three main pillars: self knowledge, which we did on Tuesday, and you can catch that replay. It is here on all my channels. So there's self-knowledge we did on Tuesday. Today, self-acceptance, and then this coming Tuesday, I'll be doing self-advancement. So let's jump into acceptance. What is acceptance? So if we look at the actual definition of the word, acceptance is the process of being received as adequate, valid, or suitable. So that's one of the dictionary definitions. And I love the word received in there because it's kind of like that sense of being made okay, so much so that you're received. You're not just okay over there, sort of far out. You're actually received for being valid, for being suitable, for being okay. So it definitely implies worth. And for me, self-worth and worth. Hello, Shiv, Shakara, namaste. Thank you for being here, Shiv. Um, Worth is a key element in self-love, and garnering worth and growing that sense of self-worth. And that's why it is in that definition that I've created for self-love, is that deep commitment to the true essence of yourself, being an eternal energy being worthy of acceptance and love and expression and expansion. So how do we self-accept? I think if you have to just stop and say, well, acceptance, I know how to accept things, or I know how to accept people, and then try and turn it on yourself and say, well, how much do I accept myself? And think about that inner critic voice. Think about the times when you're so hard on yourself for either doing something or not doing something the way that you wanted to do it. And that is rejection. That's a form of rejection. So that means that there's no self-acceptance there. So how do we actually cultivate it? I have some great steps. I've created 7 steps to self-acceptance. And the key factor here is that acceptance will breed worth. It will cultivate worth. And what happens then is, as soon as you start cultivating that worth within you, it'll become more apparent to you. And so that'll just breed more self-acceptance. And what happens when we truly accept ourselves, we're able better to accept those around us without judgment, to also accept situations, to accept life, to accept what is, um, and then do what we can to change what we can when possible, or let go the things that it's not possible to change. I just want to say hello, Naresh. It's so good to have you here. Thank you for being here. Naresh is joining on Instagram, Shiv and Claire on LinkedIn and Facebook. So thank you all for being here. It's wonderful to have you. Um, Claire says very true. Thanks, Claire. So here are those steps. So let's work on self-acceptance. Let's start first. And it's that age-old adage of the oxygen mask in the airplane. We must put the mask on ourselves first before we can help anyone else. And so that applies immensely to self-love always. And this key pillar of self-love, self-acceptance, of course, it applies here as well. So let's start self-accepting. How? Step one, kindness. Be kind to yourself, first and foremost. And that step one might be the hardest step. You might find yourself starting with step one and playing with step one for quite a while because it can take some getting used to being kind to yourself. So often we extend kindness and compassion to others, and we just don't do the same for ourselves. We can be very critical, very judgmental, very harsh with ourselves in our inner world. So, step one, kindness. Practice kindness with yourself and to yourself. Step two, look at your strengths. What are your strengths? You have a definite sense of strength. So look at that set. Look at what you bring. What are your strengths? Write them down. Think about them. Celebrate them. Celebrate your strengths. Each and every one of us has a specific set of strengths. And so as we see it in others, I was doing a quiz earlier, actually. I love quizzes, especially psychometric quiz, psychometric testing, where there are different questions that lead you to different results. Um, and one of the questions was phrased in a way, something that you're really, really good at. And my first thought was, am I really, really good at anything? And I caught myself, I was like, come on, come on. That was harsh. Where did that come from? So it's about acknowledging our strengths, knowing our strengths, and then backed up onto the end of that kindness. It's what a winning combination. It's like being kind to yourself and knowing and acknowledging and celebrating your strengths. So be kind, acknowledge and celebrate your strengths. And step three, look at what makes you unique. What is unique to you? What is so you that it's only you? And we all have that too. And so often, these are the very things that younger in life we might have been ostracized or bullied for these things, the things that make us unique, the things that make us different. And now it's an opportunity to look at those things. What are the factors that are so unique to me that um, it's just me. That's just me, and it's nobody else. Nobody else has that thing. And then again, celebrate that. There's that Dr. Seuss poem. Hello, Shiv. That Dr. Seuss poem that goes something about you can only be you, and it's great. I should actually look it up. I must. I think I've referred to it before, so I'm going to look it up, and I'm going to post it somewhere very soon because it's all about the meanness of me and the you-ness of you, and that is about our unique qualities. So think about your unique qualities, write them down, celebrate them. I'm going to pause here because, as I said, I've got seven steps for you, seven strategies. But I just want to explain that if you can hear weird noises in the background, and I don't know if you can, but if you can, I am babysitting two guinea pigs at the moment for Erin's dad, Michael, and they are very cute, and they're sitting in my office with me. And because they're in transit, they're going from the south of England via me, and there's a pet courier coming to pick them up in a couple of days, and then they're going to go over to Northern Ireland. They are in boxes because obviously I don't have guinea pig houses. So they're in these nice big, I've made little guinea pig houses out of the boxes. But the girl is insisting on pulling pieces of the box off. So it's quite hilarious. She sits there and she's peeling layers of this box apart. But anyway, so that's the noise. I've asked her not to do it, but obviously she's decided no, she has to. So that's what that noise is. If you can hear it, I'm not sure if you can. But they're very, very cute guinea pigs. They might even start singing for us just now. So back to self-acceptance as one of the pillars of self-love. So 7 strategies for self-acceptance. 1, practice kindness to yourself. 2, acknowledge and celebrate your strengths. 3, look at your unique traits, those things that make you you. And again, celebrate them. Realize that that is your unique fingerprint in the world. Number 4 is let go. So let go of everything that is beyond your control to change. So that's quite a tall order because most of us human beings find safety in trying to control. And so often we spend time and energy and different energies, physical energy, thought energy, emotional energy, on trying to change things that are not in our control or trying to control things that are not in our control. And letting all of that go is the first step. So things about yourself. For example, you might hate the length of your arms. People really do not like things about themselves, unusual things that you might not relate to, and it might be my thing. So I'm going to use a personal example. I used to hate my nose when I was a child. I hated my nose. So I believe in mind power, right? I completely believe that as human beings, we are immensely powerful and we can do anything. I also know that I haven't quite remembered my own superpowers yet. So I might believe in mind power and believe that I can change my nose with my mind. However, it might take me the rest of my life and I might be extremely unhappy and obsessive about this nose, never be in a photograph, never smile, never go out. Okay, so in that case, it's something that right now it's outside of my control. I don't have the abilities, I don't have the skills, I don't have what it takes right now to change my nose. So at some point in my life, I chose to let it go and accept my nose. Yes, I could have gone for surgery. I'm glad I didn't because I let it go. I decided that I wasn't prepared to spend on surgery. I wasn't prepared to have my face cut. I didn't have the manpower skills to change my nose, my physical nose, and therefore I let it go. And in the minute you let it go, the acceptance comes. The acceptance is there. So letting go of the things that are really outside of your control is a brilliant way to practice self-acceptance. Nicole, hello Nicole, you can hear the guinea pigs. Oh yes, guinea pigs making a noise. Thank you for being here, Nicole. Okay, so that is strategy number 4, letting go of that which is beyond your control. Because then again, your focus goes inwards, comes back within, comes back to being kind, looking at your strengths, knowing your uniqueness, and not trying to change those things that you technically can't change. Strategy number 5 is having a goal or an intention, or many goals and intentions. But really, as soon as we create goals and intentions for ourselves and for our life, we create purpose. So, and as soon as there's purpose, there's less time to be criticizing and judging and pulling apart. And it's a push to accept because you've already started practicing the kindness. You're already aware of your strengths and your uniqueness. You've let go of what you cannot change. And now there's an intention that you're working towards. So that gives you focus, gives purpose, and you accept your strengths, your weaknesses, who you really are, and you go for that goal, you go for that intention. So again, there's acceptance. Because if I'm busy faffing around what I don't accept and self-rejection, how am I ever going to go for that intention or that goal? So have goals, have intentions, keep yourself focused on a prize if you want. And as I've said before, make your goals varied. Do short term, do micro goals even. I do micro goals some days where the day might just seem, I might have too many big goals. too many mid and long-term goals. And so I create little micro goals, and it is so empowering. And it feeds self-acceptance because by achieving those, I've built myself up again. By achieving those, I feel the sense of achievement. I can acknowledge my strengths again, that strength of time management, that strength of energy, that strength of focus. And so straight away, that self-acceptance is increased in that moment. So that's strategy number 5. Have a goal or an intention. Strategy number 6 for self-acceptance can be a bit of a challenge for most of us. I was going to say a lot of us, but actually it seems to be most of us. And that is get vulnerable, be vulnerable, show your vulnerability. And that doesn't have to be indiscriminately with the whole world. Pick your audience, have key people in your life that you can create real emotional and intellectual intimacy with, where you can share the innermost parts of who you are. And what happens then is you create a mirror experience. So when you see somebody who cares about you, accepting you, and accepting where you're at, accepting your thoughts, your ideas, your emotions, your physical body, that mirrors back to you the message that you're acceptable. And so again, that is feeding self-acceptance. By virtue of the fact that you're seeing that acceptance mirrored back at you with that safe person in that space of vulnerability. And like I say, with vulnerability, it is key to choose your audience. I'm all for bravery and courage, and I've been known to be extremely vulnerable to people that I hadn't vetted as safe people in my world yet, or close in my inner circle, and that's okay for me. It doesn't mean that it's okay for everybody, and often the results can be quite damaging. So have your close inner circle, have your friends, trust them with who you are, trust your close people, and see what they mirror back at you, because it's probably going to be acceptance first and foremost. That's why they're there in the first place, in your inner circle, because they dig you. And then that's going to help you grow that self-acceptance again. So that is strategy number 6, practicing vulnerability. And strategy number 7 is get involved. Get involved in something bigger than you, in something outside of you, in something where you'll be able to see a tangible value add just by you being involved in it. So whether that be a project, some kind of charitable one-off event or long-term commitment, whether it be in your family, maybe it's as a support, being a support to somebody, whatever it is, get involved in something that's not about you. Get involved in something external to yourself where you can add value. And at the end of every day or at the end of every engagement with that thing, you will be able to see your value. And I promise you, your self-acceptance will shoot up, because that is essential to human nature, is to add value. And as soon as you see yourself adding value, you'll be amazed at what happens. Your own self-worth will go up. Your own self-acceptance automatically goes up, because you're bringing something of value to somebody else or something else, a greater cause than just, I don't like my nose, or I don't think I'm good enough, or I got that wrong, I didn't do that right. So get involved is strategy number 7. And so that way you create something of meaning. So I'm just going to run through these strategies for self-acceptance again and just cap them off. So number 1 is kindness. Practice kindness with yourself as you would to somebody else that you really care about. Number 2, acknowledge and celebrate your strengths. We all have a set of strengths, and as you would acknowledge somebody else's strengths, acknowledge your own as well. Number 3, become aware of your unique traits, and again, celebrate them. Celebrate what makes you you, what sets you apart. It might be one small thing, it might be a little list of things, but celebrate your uniqueness. Number 4, let go. Let go of everything that is beyond your control, that is outside of your immediate control. Just let go of it. So by practicing acceptance of what is, you'll be able to practice acceptance of who you are. And okay, I'll get to that point when I finish the steps. So number 5, have a goal or an intention. So that will give you focus, that will give you purpose, And as you work towards that, and as you start achieving your micro goals and your steps on the route to that intention or that goal, your self-worth raises again, and again your self-acceptance, because as you're achieving, you've got more to accept, more of the good stuff. So that was number 5. Number 6 is vulnerability. Practice vulnerability with your inner circle, with your key people. Pick your people well and allow yourself to see how they accept you, and allow yourself to receive that. And in that space, practice self-acceptance as well. And then the last one, number 7, was get involved in some project or something bigger than yourself, something outside of yourself, something where you can add value. And again, when you start seeing the value that you're adding, your sense of self-acceptance will grow automatically from that. And the thought that I had in the middle of running through the list of strategies was just on acceptance. Acceptance is about accepting, but it doesn't necessarily mean resignation. It doesn't necessarily mean that because I'm accepting something, I no longer wish to grow or evolve or expand. Absolutely the opposite. What it implies is that, and what I firmly believe, I really, really believe this, before we can actually grow past anything, before we can expand anything, before anything can evolve, it first needs to be known and accepted. Because if you're working with something that you're pretending is not there, how on earth are you going to evolve or grow that? So acceptance is not about resignation. It's merely about accepting what is. And you are worthy of that. As you are right now, today, you are worthy of full acceptance. You want to grow, you want to evolve, you want to expand yourself. Yes, go for it. And that's in those strategies where I say have a goal, have an intention, get involved in something outside of yourself. Yes, go for all of that. But first and foremost, accept yourself. Accept yourself. Your own sense of self-worth will go up. You will start seeing the value that you add in the world. The world will mirror it back to you, and everything will go up from there. Self-love, self-worth, self-acceptance. Keep it up. I really hope that helped you today. Going over self-acceptance as one of the key pillars in my definition of self-love. Let me know in the comments after this. Let me know what you think about it. I will actually post those 7 self-acceptance strategies below the videos where they are on social media, so that you can just refer back to them. You can copy them out and give them a go. Start practicing that stuff. You really do deserve it. You deserve acceptance. And as I always say, you've got to put the oxygen mask on yourself first. So before you can really give true acceptance to anyone else and true love to anyone else, you must accept yourself first and love yourself first. So thank you for being here. I wish you all the best practicing self-love, self-acceptance, self-knowledge. I love you. You are worth it. And I will see you on Tuesday where we talk about self-advancement. So that's the third of the major pillars in my definition of self-love, self-advancement, and doing it from a base of self-knowledge and self-acceptance. I look forward to seeing you then. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of the week and have a wonderful weekend. And I will see you next week. Thank you for being here.